Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ground Up with Natalie. It has been a minute. I know I kind of ghosted you guys, and I'm genuinely sorry about that. We'll get into that. Trust me, that is literally what this episode is about. I'm super excited because I feel a lot more organized this next season, and we have some really great guests. We're going to focus a lot on interviewing actors, and we're going to go a lot into the mental health and mindfulness, and even like some people that are entrepreneurs in like vitamin shops and kind of getting to know superfoods and all stuff like that. So I'm really excited. As always, this episode is brought to you by Mastermind Media. So thank you, Mastermind, for having me. And let's get straight into the episode. I'm excited to be here with you guys. Honestly, I miss you guys. I don't even know where to start. I'm going to be completely honest. And I think that has described 2023 for me. I have just discovered that I'm in my Saturn return, which is, I guess, from 27 to 29 years old. Doesn't matter if you're whoever you are, anyone. Saturn is orbiting or something like that. And you feel like everything is upside down and nothing's going your way. And that is how I have felt for the past 6 months. And it's hard to juggle a podcast, a business, and an acting career when you don't feel like things are going your way, and you don't feel motivated, and you don't feel like you're, pursuing anything like one way or the other. So that has been what's been going on with me. And I did the podcast, and then I just felt unmotivated for whatever reason. And so I knew that I needed to take a mental health break and step back and get grounded. Because I know a lot of you, by the way, like the reason I'm sharing this is because I get your DMs and they're like, hey, I'm feeling just, they're like, how do you stay motivated? And I'm like, y'all, I know my highlight reel seems like I'm like up and out every day and working out and eating healthy, but I can't post all the time when I'm like not feeling motivated. So that's what this community here is on this podcast, is for me to tell you like that, or when you DM me, that I'll share with you like what I'm actually going through in that moment. But I just haven't felt inspired, right? Because that is what sparks motivation, is inspiration. And in order to spark inspiration, sometimes you have to take a step back completely, because if you continue to go through doing the same thing that isn't providing you happiness and inspiration, then you're just going through the motions and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome that is not going to happen. So I knew I had to take a step back, take a breather, and find out how I could ground myself again and get back that oomph for life, and that joy that I was missing it. Honestly, I could feel it. It was gone. And so how I do that, like I love to ground with, the first thing I go to are books and routine. And the only way that I know that I'm going to get my reading done, right, which inspires me when I read something, especially I like to read nonfiction. I like to read a lot of philosophy and self-help or motivational books. They kickstart my day, and that's what starts to inspire me. And so it takes a minute to get back on that train of like, okay, I'm going to read every morning. But like, this is how I started to ground myself and kind of come back from being in a sort of low space. And I keep using the word uninspired, but that's just truly how I felt. All right, guys, a quick little break for me to tell you guys about Magic Mornings. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about it, but Magic is a mental health and wellness brand focusing on our morning routine journal that helps you have a more peaceful and productive day every single day in just 5 minutes. So the Magic method is M stands for meditation, A is affirmations, G is gratitude, I is intentions, and C, well, it stands for coffee. And coffee is really a metaphor for taking action. So you can drink tea or anything else really that you want. But this method is proven for you to manifest your deepest desires. Imagine every single morning you're writing down your intentions and what you're grateful for and stating your affirmations and taking 5 minutes for a meditation break. The Magic Journal is a tool that is perfect for you. And today we have a special code for you to get 20% off your magic journal. Use code GROUNDUP20 at checkout for 20% off everything. So I've been reading a lot and just kind of getting back to center. I've been on social media way less, and kind of just taking that breather that I know I needed. And so I feel like if any of you are feeling off, first of all, if you're between 27 to 30, you are in your Saturn return, which again, like things are just off. Like that's how it's going to be, but it only lasts from like 6 months to a year and a half, I was reading. So hang in there. But what goes up must come down. So I was on a down, right? Last year was a good year. I was working a lot. And now I'm in this low place. And then in order to go back up, you have to get lower and lower and lower. And eventually you can't go any further than the ground, and you will start going up. But you have to find habits and things that are true to you, that you know work for you, and put them in place. And so that's what I've been doing the last 6 months, is kind of been building myself back up and getting back on those healthy habits. And those days that I don't feel motivated, sometimes you have to sit in that, and that's how inspiration comes to you, within that silence. So if you're feeling that type of way and you're just like, nothing is right, instead of repeating to yourself, what's going on, I'm in my head, like I can't get this job, I can't make this relationship work, just sit, like truly, and feel it. Don't text a friend immediately or go on TikTok. I know it's hard, but if you can, for 24 hours, just get off anything that's going to stimulate you and go connect with nature, go on a walk. Maybe do call an old friend and be like, hey, I just feel like connecting with my old roots again. Like, and maybe that person will inspire you. Do a craft, some sort of craft at home, or collage, something to get your mind in a different space, expand your mind. Because if you look at your habits that you do every single day, a lot of them are similar. Mine are similar, right? I've told you guys before in this podcast that I have officially nixed the habit of waking up every morning and going on my phone, which is the best thing I've ever done in my entire 28 years of life. I don't go on my phone first thing in the morning. I wait at least an hour, and it's just ingrained in me at this point. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I make my coffee, and then I read for a little bit, or go on a walk, or do something where it's not on my phone. But there's other habits that I do every single day that I see get in a cycle that are not unhealthy, but they're just like, they're not, they don't spark inspiration, or they're not doing anything new for me, right? It's kind of like just that same old thing. So when you feel super low or lost, or like nothing's going your way, see if you're doing the same exact thing every single day. Maybe switching it up for you is like watching a YouTube tutorial, even though that's still digital, but whatever it is, you'll figure it out. Just do something different that you don't do every single day. Okay. Another thing that I've been doing in the past 6 months is I joined a book club, which I've never done before. But it was very cool to meet brand new people. It's a book club where no one in the club knows each other. Just the girl that started it knows everyone. And then we read popular fiction. And I only read nonfiction. So this is amazing for me because my mind is already being expanded with these really cool fiction stories. And even if you don't like the book, right, you're in a club, you got to read it. Like, you got to keep going. And you gain new perspectives because you're in this author's mind, and they're creating a whole story. And that creates new waves of energy for you. And it's already sparked ideas for me. One of the ideas I've had that I'm currently creating is called Creative Nights Mastermind. And pretty much a mastermind group is just people getting together to create a lot of energy around a certain project, because then it becomes a master of minds that are going to, create something to happen. Rather, if it's just your mind, that's great, but that's only so much energy. If you have a 10 people group called a mastermind, by the way, this is actually a perfect thing to talk about. Get a mastermind group together. Get like 5-10 friends. You guys can go on Zoom or meet in person. You all talk about your ideas. And in that, hour Zoom, when it's your turn to go, you're talking about your creative ideas, and everyone is energetically like, Yes, do that. Here's this idea for it. I have a friend that makes t-shirts. Do you want me to talk to them? Da, 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 da. And it's creating this masterful energy around it. So start that for sure. That's kind of easy and fun. And that will definitely get you into a new energetic space. But this is called a Creative Nights Mastermind. And pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one night a month. I think I'm going to do every third Monday of the month. And I'm going to invite a group of friends and we're going to do something creative. So I already have a list of things. Like there's going to be a candle making night, a collage night. What else did I come up with? Oh, like a sip and paint, right? And so what this is going to do is we're all going to chat about our ideas and our endeavors because everyone has them. And while we're doing it, we're going to be making bracelets or doing something that no one would normally be doing, but everyone wants to be doing something creative. But, it's hard to find those ideas and create that time and space. So I want to create that for people, and you can do it yourself. Like, have you ever sat and done something like cleaning is a good example, right? It's always therapeutic to clean, but have you ever found yourself in a position where you're like making a jeweled bracelet or something and you're like, oh man, I haven't done this since I was a kid. Like, this is so nice. This feels so good. I'm not on my phone. I don't even know where my phone is. Like, I'm doing this new thing. Or you're baking something and you're so entrenched in it and you're like, oh, that was a nice hour. Why do I feel so good? Because you're doing something a little bit out of your norm, right? Like, I feel like sometimes we're in this small orbit, and I know that I am. I live in LA. I've lived in the same spot for a couple of years. I have my same friends and I go to the same restaurants. It's going to happen. But the more we can be aware of that fact and have that curiosity to seek more and to get to know more, the more we're going to actually take action on doing things that are a little bit different, that can expand our mind. And honestly, it's coming down to like being a happier person, right? That's how I got to this moment right now saying these words in this podcast, because for the last 6 months, I've been in such a slump and I've had to do things a little bit different to get out of it, because I knew that if I stayed doing the same thing every day, nothing was going to change. I was going to still feel this like, all right, what's going on? What's next? And a lot of this has to do with the fact that I am an actor. I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast are actors. Even if you're not, this will still probably be interesting to you. There is a huge nationwide writer strike going on right now. And what that means is writers cannot write. If you are in the Writers Guild of America, you cannot write right now for television. So there's been no auditions, no work. So I genuinely feel like I'm in pandemic 2.0. If you're an actor, you can probably relate. It really feels like I literally wake up every day and I'm like, all right, what am I going to do today? It's Tuesday. Okay. Yeah. No work, no auditions. So that's obviously has added to what's been going on for, this year. But I'm sure you guys can relate with your endeavors. Even if you're still employed at a job, you might have those spurts of time where you're just really like, is this really it? Is this all of life? And it's so normal for all of us. And I think that at some point you just got to shake it off. You got to really just sit there and sit in it and be okay in that unmotivated feeling, and sit there and be like, okay, what is my heart trying to tell me? What is my intuition trying to tell me? Like, have you ever really done that where you're just not feeling well, meaning like mentally, and your mind is going and going in circles. And in that moment, what if we can train ourselves to truly stop and go, hold on, where am I right now? What is my present moment, right? We all know, we've all heard it. Be present. The past is the past. The past is depression. The future is anxiety, right? Have you guys heard that? Where like, if you think too much in the past, it leads to depression because the past doesn't exist anymore. And if you think too much about the future It leads to anxiety. And the present is that beautiful gift that is just now. And so if we can slowly train ourselves in those spiraling moments to be like, where am I? I'm sitting in a chair. Okay, I'm okay. Nothing else in this moment actually matters, because we are not promised our next breath. As I'm sorry if that sounds cheesy or too deep, but you guys, when are the moments when you feel most grateful for your family? It's when someone dies, right? Or when you feel most grateful for your health. It's when you've just been sick and you get over being sick. It's like, what if in those moments where we're just healthy or no one has passed in our circle that month, and we just really felt like, oh, God, I'm good. Like, this is giving me anxiety for what? What is that anxiety? Let's point it out. Let's draw it on a piece of paper. Instagram is? Okay, tell yourself, okay, social media is giving me anxiety right now. Okay, why? Because that post didn't do as well as I thought. Okay, why? I don't know, because it wasn't a great post. Okay. Have you survived? Yes. Cool. Want to get a banana out of the fridge now? Like, how can we be so conscious, right? Instead of living unconsciously, and do that in our day-to-day lives. And sooner or later, you're going to get to a place where you're a monk. No, I'm just kidding. You're not going to be a monk, but you will get to a place where you are truly living more present, which is the antithesis to anxiety and depression. It's living in the now. So these little things have been helping me when I get into a spiral about the fact that I haven't worked in 6 months. I am currently unemployed, and nothing's going to change in that, as far as acting, until this writer's strike is over. And the writer's strike is happening for great reasons. And, on the other side of all this chaos is going to be amazing things. I know that for a fact, but it's hard because I'm a human being and this is my livelihood, and I know that you all have things that you deal with as well. So hopefully doing something like being creative or joining a book club that you never thought that you would join, or go buy a magazine, and not a vision board, but do a collage, like cut the things out and glue a bunch of them on top of each other on like a little poster board, and listen to music and turn off that fucking phone. It's hard, I know. Okay. A couple other things that I want to share with you guys. Number one, my boyfriend, who you guys know from episode 12, Ways We've Built a Healthy Relationship. It's actually the most played episode on Ground Up Season 1. It's really good. We're moving in together. So that's super exciting. That's been a change, a great change, but still something else that's been happening in my life. And another thing going on that I am so excited to share. I haven't shared this anywhere yet besides right here, right now in this moment. And I'm not even going to say too much, but my friend Janetta and I, who is an actress, she is from the show called Vampire Academy. I'm going to have her on this season as well. But we are creating an actor's course together, and it is launching very soon. And it's going to be everything you need to know to become a working actor on television. And it is going to be the business side of acting. So how to get an agent and a manager, how to write pitch emails, headshots, resume, reels, self-taping, incorporating versus LLC versus not doing that. Do I need a lawyer? 10%, 20%, what does all that mean? Everything that I've been kind of going through for the past 10 years of pursuing this. We're going to just have you work a little bit less and write it all out in a course. So stay tuned for that for sure. The course has actually been, the acting course has been an idea of mine for a really long time. Like I love teaching other people about acting. I mentor a few younger actors, and it truly fuels me, and I'm passionate about it, because I know how hard it is to just not know anything and kind of be thrown into this industry, and helping you guys, like, truly, I think that's the one thing that actually makes me like really happy, is kind of teaching others. So obviously that's why I have a podcast. I love just sharing with you guys little tidbits of things that I'm doing or reading, or mental health tools that have helped me. And when it comes to acting, I feel like I'm still in the beginning of my career, 100,000%. But the one thing that I do have, right, I don't have 10 years experience working. I have 10 years of experience hustling. And that is what I love to teach. And specifically, how do I hustle to do what I love, which for you guys is acting, a lot of you. And actually, I love teaching you how to hustle to do anything that you want to do. Like, that is my MO. And so these past 6 months, I've been so stagnant, and I'm thinking, what are those things that make me happy? And I'm like, I love teaching, because a lot of people reach out to me in the DMs about acting stuff, and I love responding. I get so excited. And so I was like, okay, how can I turn this into something that I do a lot more often? And that's how the course idea came up. And my friend Janetta is a super successful actress, and she's also a website coder, which is super inspiring and super cool. So she's like, why don't I help us? And, I'll do the website part, you do this part, and, you chip in here, I chip in there, and we're creating this awesome course. But that has just been something that's been super, it fuels me. It fills me up. It actually makes me feel inspired, which I think is kind of one of the most important feelings for me, at least. It brings me joy when I feel like excited about a new endeavor. So if you're looking for a way to feel more motivated and more inspired, maybe look for a way to help others. Like, what can you do that is part of your passion that you can fuel other people and kind of use what you're good at to teach other people. I was literally thinking that. I was like, okay, if I were to create a course, what would it be? And I'm like sitting there thinking, and I'm like, acting. And then I was like, oh my God, what if everyone just took their strength, like what they're really good at, and they helped other people with it, right? Like the magic journal that I created, we donate one per purchase to high school students. And that was my little way of being like, okay, this is something that I love. How can I share it? So think about something. If you're feeling unmotivated or uninspired, think of something that you love to do and that you're passionate about. And how can you help someone else? Maybe they're younger than you. Maybe they're in your family. Like, can you make a post on your story today and be like, let's say you're a plant connoisseur. You're really good at plants. You're a botanist. And you're like, I feel like giving advice today. Feels good. So you post on your story and you're like, hey guys, free advice for the next 6 hours. Like, what plants do you like? What plants do you have in your home? I want to help you figure out how to take care of those plants, right? It's so random, but it's so hard for me. I do not have a green thumb. And all of a sudden you get this flood of people like, hey, I actually really need help with this or that. That would have never happened if you didn't make that one inquiry or that one post. And then it might spark an idea for you. What if you have a huge amount of people that actually respond and they're like, I never thought of this. The thing that I've learned lately is like, we don't see our own strengths a lot of the time, right? Like, I'm sitting here feeling so unmotivated, so like just that feeling of like, I don't bring anything to the table. And of course your friends and family are going to be like, are you kidding me? Yes, you do. You're good at this. Play to those strengths. Like, don't go out looking for different ones. Sure, be curious and like learn new skills, but take what you're good at and run with it. It's so easy for you, right? It's so seamless for you because you're good at it. But don't lose sight of that. Understand and remember that you were put on this earth with that gift or with that passion. And don't feel shame about using it to drive your day-to-day life and to help people. So I feel like that could be a fun way to kind of get out of a rut or start getting more inspired of like, okay, what am I good at and how can I serve others with it? All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for coming back for another Ground Up with Natalie episode. I hope that you got some tidbits of inspiration in there to kind of get out and shake things up and, I don't know, do something different. That's what's helped me in the last 6 months get out of my slump, right? It's just getting grounded again, and whether that's reading or going on a walk or drinking a new drink, just something to shake it up. I hope that this episode did that for you. And if you got anything out of it, share it with someone you love. Pass it on. Pass on the good vibes, the good energy. And of course, if you liked it, please rate this episode because that's how it gets pushed through these platforms. So I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week with a really great episode of Ground Up with Natalie. Bye.